Good afternoon, this is David Wendell with Bushcraft on Fire, and we're pleased to be with you for another video. We're out here on a brisk 25-30 degree day, and it's a great day to do some bushcrafting skills. So what I thought that I would do to begin with is to show you, I've had a couple questions, how do you carry heavy loads? You don't want to carry 100 pounds, or perhaps your partner gets hurt out in the bush and you need to transport them 3, 4, 5 miles. How do you do it easily? Well, the easiest way is to make a travois. And that's what we want to do today. And what I've done is I've gotten a couple sticks here about 8 foot tall, and I'm going to make my travois about 6.5. These sticks have spring in them. They're not real dead. They didn't come off live trees. Probably if I was in a survival situation I may use a live tree. I don't need to for this demonstration, so I'm not going to take a live tree. But the first thing I want to do is to cut these to size. Now, I've already cut this one to size, and so we can see that size. I'm going to measure this one up, and I'm going to mark it right here, and I'm going to bring it down and just cut that off. Get that. Now, when you're making your travois, and travois comes from an old native term, it's actually a French word. The natives used it a lot, but it means to travail, and it's a way to carry heavy loads. Generally they would be used by horses. You would make your travois a triangular, it's actually an isosceles triangle, out of wood, put your cargo on it, your load, and then attach it to the horse to pull. We don't have that luxury to have a horse. So what we're going to do is show you how to put it together and carry it yourself. So now I've got my 2 sticks. These are going to be the frame for my travois. You can see they're approximately the same size. And as I said, I want to make an isosceles triangle. Something about like this that's going to carry my load. What's going to happen is I'm going to stand in the middle of this once it's finished, and I'm going to pull the load behind me. So what we're going to do, first we're going to lash this. We're going to put a cross piece here that will allow us to have more stability and to have something to hold on to besides just the travois. We're going to put a cross piece in the center and a cross piece in the back. So let's get to work lashing this thing up and show you how that comes out. Well, the first thing we want to do is we're crossing this and leaving our bars spread out for right now. And I'm just going to come over here and make a lashing. This isn't going to be any kind of fancy dancy deal. Just something to get this held together. Put a couple fraps around there and tie it off. And again, it's just enough to get this poles to where they're sturdy and where they're not going to fall apart on this end. I'll just tie a square knot in the top end. And again, you'll see, I'm going to try not to cut too much cordage if I don't have to. But that's going to hold together well enough once that I put my other lashings on there. Now the second thing I want to do is to put a cross piece about where my waist is going to be. And so I'm going to measure out, I've got a couple other dead sticks here. I'm going to measure something out here. And I'm going to leave a little space on each edge. And that's going to allow me room to put my hands as I carry it. So I want to cut this off right about here. And we'll cut that off. And once I get that cut down, that wasn't too hard, we'll put that right on here. And we'll lash that in place as well. So let me get that lashed on, and we'll be right back with you. While I do this side, let me go ahead and show you how I'm making this lash. It's basically a square lash. I put a clove hitch on here, leave a tag end, and then I just start pulling my cordage. I had a couple pieces of short cordage, so I just knotted them together, and I'm going to pull that cordage over these sticks a couple times in a square pattern. That will allow me to go ahead and have a tight wrap on that. Then I'm going to come up back and I'm going to pull tight against the lashings to make what's called a frapping, and that will go ahead and hold that real tight for me, and you'll see in a minute this won't move. We want this to be kind of strong as we do it, and then I'll just come under here, tie off a square knot, and we'll be finished with that lash. So we got that lash on the top, and you can see now that's kind of strong. That's going to hold my travois in place to where I want it. And then I can go ahead and put my back ends across there, which would be my load carrying ends. So let me go ahead, let me get a couple more of these cut off the side. This one I'm going to make pretty stable because I want this, cut that right about there. Actually, I'm going to cut off that thin end. Give me a little more stability on it. Cut it right there. Cut this, get that across the bottom, and we're just about be done with our travois. Well, you can see now I've got one of these legs lashed down. That's going to give me my stability. But this is a little wider than I wanted at the bottom, so what I'm going to do, I've braced this into a tray. I'm going to literally pull this in so it's a little bit narrower, and I'm going to go ahead and notch that off right there. So I'll go ahead and put my lash on here, and you can see the way that I've pulled that in. That's going to add stability and strength to the entire travois. So get that in there, and we'll lash that down and be right back. As you can see, this wood still has a lot of stability in it, so a lot of strength. It's not going to just fall apart on us. But now we've got the basic travois finished. The legs are about the same length. This is our cross piece, and what we want to do is to put another cross piece on here, which will be our pack frame. So let's get that one put on. Alright, well, we've got our bottom lashings on, and that's what we'll put our pack. Now if I was going to carry somebody, I might put a couple more lashings, and actually if I was going to carry somebody, this will be a little bit longer. I might make my poles about 10 foot at that point. I didn't need to do that for this demonstration because I would have had to take live trees. I can either carry this by holding on right here, or I can hold on here and I pull this bar into my waist. And that bar in my waist lets my center of gravity be able to pull this. So let's do this. I left a little extra cordage on here. Let me get a load to put on here and to show you how this would carry a load. So let me go find something that's kind of heavy, and I'll be right back. Alright, I found this old dead stump. I guess that thing weighs about 60 pounds, 65 pounds. And I decided I don't want to carry it back to the travois. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring a travois over here and hook that on. And then once I get that on the travois, we'll be able to pull it out of here. Good work. What I'm doing now, I'm just tying my load off here. I'm just going to tie that off with a few half hitches. Doesn't have to be real strong at this point because we're not going to carry this load a long way. But if it was, then I would be able to just tie it a little stronger. So you can see that's sitting on that edge. Get us another piece of cordage here, and we'll get it on the other edge. Alright, there we go. We've got this secured to the travois, hopefully. And what we're going to do is carry this out a little bit to show you how it works. One of the nice things about the travois and the setup is that I can put my pack on and it's not going to be in the way of me carrying, whether I had a backpack or just my day pack. Alright, well, we're ready, and you can see I drag this a little bit, so we're going to drag this and show you. Now again, this is only about a 60-pound load that I've got on here. If I have a buddy who's been hurt, if I need to get some game out of the bush, some heavy game, if I have some stash that I want to carry somewhere else that's more than I want to carry on my back, a travois is a great way to do it. This is David Wendell with Bushcraft on Fire. We thank you for joining us for this video. I do want to take a moment at this time to thank you all again for all of your support, for your comfort, for your words of love and encouragement to us through the loss of Tam's brother and through the loss of my dad. We appreciate you guys. Hope that you have a great day. Join us again for another video. And thanks for watching.